It's not what happens to you that wounds, but how you choose to face it. Epic stoicism. Ever feel your mind racing? Words spilling faster than intended, fixating on everything but what truly matters. In a noisy world where hasty opinions are mistaken for strength and rash reactions pass as wisdom, many men have lost their way. They're drained, scattered, and disconnected from their inner power. But the Stoics uncovered the answer long ago. True strength isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. Not shouting louder, but knowing when to stay silent. Not thinking endlessly, but directing thoughts with purpose. Forge your mind like steel, with Stoic wisdom tailored for men. Discover how to sharpen your focus, discipline your thoughts, and act with unwavering intent. Master what's within your grasp. Tame your inner voice, and build a presence that commands respect, even in silence. If you've ever felt drowned in distractions, you're not alone. But today can mark the start of your return. Join me on this journey. For when you think less, speak less, and focus more, the world doesn't control you, you command it. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay on this path of quiet, powerful transformation. One truth to hold: thoughts are not facts. A single thought can ruin your day if you let it take root. A quiet whisper creeps into your mind like a shadow. I'm not enough. Nothing will change. What if it all goes wrong before you know it? You live as if those words are carved in stone, but they're not. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus taught that events don't disturb us, our judgments of them do. Have you ever mistaken a fleeting thought for truth? How often have you let an untested idea cage you? Picture yourself at a train station. Each thought is a train passing by. Some carry regret, others anger, others fear. You don't have to board every train that arrives. You can stand firm, breathe deeply, and watch them pass. This simple act, observing without reacting, is a Stoic blade cutting through inner chaos. When you're trapped in thought, you lose control. But step back, observe, and thoughts lose their grip. They fade like mist. I recall a late-night talk with a colleague, a respected leader known for his calm. He admitted waking each morning with a knot of frustration in his gut, not from external events, but from the whispers of his mind. The moment his eyes opened, "You're not good enough. You're failing." For years, he lived as if those thoughts were his sentence. Then he found Marcus Aurelius and realized something profound. He could create distance. He could say, "I'm having the thought that I'm failing." That small shift in language changed everything. He was no longer the failure, just a man with a passing thought. Like clouds, like smoke. If you don't feed the fire, the smoke dissipates. This isn't about denying thoughts or forcing positivity. That's just dodging reality. It's about recognizing your mind generates thoughts automatically. Not every thought is useful. Many are old memories, inherited fears, or unfiltered reactions. You are not those thoughts. You are the space where they appear. You decide which thoughts to nurture and which to release. Stoic practice begins with that awareness. No need for wilderness retreats or long meditations. Just a few minutes daily to pause and observe. When a thought stings, don't react. Don't push it away. Don't cling to it. Simply watch. Ask yourself, is this true? Do I have evidence? Does it strengthen or weaken me? If it doesn't serve, let it go, not with anger, but with calm. Like dropping a stone you no longer need to carry. Bit by bit, you carve out inner space. In that space, something thoughts can't mimic, emerges clarity, stillness, enduring strength. This isn't magic, it's discipline. It's returning to the present, standing firm on that platform, rooted in yourself. The Stoics didn't aim to stop thoughts, but to tame them. They knew an untrained mind is a wild horse. It drags you to places you don't want to go, but a disciplined mind becomes your ally, lighting the path. Most importantly, it grants you freedom to walk it. Next time your inner voice says you can't, you're not enough, or it's too late, breathe. Don't board that train. Stay grounded. For thoughts don't define you. How you handle them is your true power. Quiet, inner, unshakable strength. Second, the power of speaking less. The stronger the soul, the less it needs to justify, said Marcus Aurelius. Some silences unsettle others. Others command respect. In a world where quick talk is mistaken for intelligence and noise drowns truth, choosing to speak less is rebellion, not against others, but against your own ego, the part craving the last word, itching to retort, yearning to be heard. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to master yourself. There was a man in our office meetings everyone avoided, not because he was harsh, but because he was different. He spoke only when it mattered. He listened. He observed. And when he finally spoke, each word felt carved in stone, not from volume, but from precision. He didn't argue or over-explain. He spoke only when it was worth it, making him unforgettable. The Stoics saw this as virtue. The wise don't speak out of habit. They speak by choice. They don't dive into petty disputes, knowing some battles are won by not fighting. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a strong soul stays calm amid the world's noise. The challenge is holding your ground when everything screams, provoques, and demands a response. Speaking less isn't fear, it's strategy. It's knowing when to speak and when to hold silence. Understanding not every jab needs a counter. Not every slight needs a reply. Not every moment needs your explanation. Reacting to everything scatters your energy, fragments your focus, and breeds chaos. But purposeful silence sharpens your mind. You become a man who acts with intent, not impulse. Stoics don't seek to please others. They live by virtue. Part of that virtue is saying only what's necessary, speaking like a warrior, measuring each strike. A careless word can cut deeper than you think. A well-timed pause can diffuse a storm. Recall the last time you spoke impulsively, maybe a jab, a defense, or an unneeded opinion. Was it worth it, or did it leave you hollow, patching regret? Silence never carries that weight. Silence buys you time. It restores clarity. It hands you back control. Speaking less makes you more present. You listen. Truly listen. Not to counter, not to win, but to understand. Something shifts, others lower their guards, sensing you're not fighting but engaging. By holding your tongue, your thoughts gain clarity. Your words cease to be reactions, they become choices. Epictetus taught us to master the impulse to speak. True freedom lies in not needing to justify yourself, a quiet liberty found in your breath, your gaze, your calm. Even when you could win with a sharp retort. Restreint prévaille. Speaking less isn't a style, it's a philosophy. It reminds you that control begins with your tongue. True respect isn't demanded, it's earned. In a noisy world, The man who masters silence stands as a presence needing no introduction. When the urge to reply surges, pause, breathe, ask, is this necessary? Is it useful? Does it align with who I aim to be? If not, hold your words. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in saying nothing, and in that silence, you grow clearer, stronger, truer to yourself. Third, control what you can. Sometimes the world feels like it's crushing you. Plans collapse. People disappoint. Opportunities vanish. The past stings, and the future looms heavy. In that chaos, one question cuts through. What now? Most blame others or give up. But some choose differently. They turn inward, claiming the one power no one can steal: how they respond. You can't choose the cards life deals, but you can choose how to play them. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control, simple yet brutal. It places the weight of your mind on your shoulders. It's not what happens, but how you let it shape you. You can't stop others from letting you down, but you can refuse to let disappointment consume you. You can't rewrite the past, but you can keep it from defining you. The moment you stop fighting what can't be changed and seize what can, you reclaim power. Picture a ship on a vast sea. The captain can't control the wind or waves, but he commands the rudder, the sails, and the choice to keep sailing. A Stoic man lives like that captain, acknowledging the storm, not pretending it's calm, but asking, what's my true anchor? Then he acts. I met a man who lost his business after 20 years. He said, the hardest part wasn't the money, it was the helplessness. Watching himself unravel with each unpaid bill. For months, he was trapped in anger and blame, obsessing over what couldn't be fixed. Then he stopped. He took a notebook and drew 2 columns, what he couldn't control and what he could. Habits, mindset, discipline, and the will to start anew filled the second. From that day, he didn't just rebuild his business, he built inner peace. Because clarity breeds strength and focus makes you untouchable. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, knew not everything was in his hands. He wrote to remind himself that happiness stems not from the outside, but from the quality of your thoughts. An emperor could command armies, but not fate. His true power lay in how he responded. No whining. No quitting, just a steady mind amid chaos. Controlling what you can doesn't mean making everything perfect. It's gripping the helm through the storm. When life shakes, you choose what to hold inside: calm, purpose, deliberate action. Live from your core, not fleeting reactions. If you're lost, pause, breathe, look hard at what you can control, and let go of what you can't. Then pour every ounce of strength into what you can change. No matter how small, each deliberate act becomes purer, stronger, yours, keeping you upright when the world crumbles. It's not luck or circumstance, but relentless resolve to return to what matters. That's where true transformation begins, not out there, not tomorrow, but now, in the thoughts you choose, the reactions you master, the man you decide to be when no one else can interfere. Fourth, focus on what makes you grow. You've been there. A conversation ends, but you replay it endlessly. A mistake from months ago keeps you awake. Someone hurt you, and though they're gone, the wound festers not because of what happened, but because you feed it. Your mind is fertile soil. It grows what you plant. Sow pain, guilt, or resentment, and peace won't bloom. The issue isn't remembering, it's staying trapped there, looping like a broken record. Sometimes you turn your mind into a prison, but you hold the key. You're not sentenced to stay there. Thoughts aren't a life sentence, they're a choice. This isn't about denying the past or pretending all is well. It's about redirecting your focus to what builds you, strengthens you, moves you forward. A man looking backward can't advance, no matter how fast he runs. But turn your gaze to where light shines, and something unlocks inside. It's quiet, not instant, but it opens. That's where real growth begins. Marcus Aurelius, amid war, betrayal, and illness, wrote in quiet nights that the soul strengthens by focusing only on what life demands today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. The present, flawed as it is the only place you can act. Your attention is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. Each time you catch your mind wandering and pull it back to now, you train an invisible muscle called discipline. Consider a single day in your life. Thousands of thoughts flood your mind, some fleeting, some heavy, but only a few shape your actions. Only a few drain your strength. The secret isn't stopping them, it's choosing not to feed them. To do this, you must return to your breath, your body, the things that truly matter. Someone once commented on a Stoic video I watched, "Every time I start moving forward, my mind drags me back to old memories, to those who hurt me, and I lose hours stuck there like it's still happening." I get it. We've all been there. But the key isn't to flee those thoughts. It's to face them, acknowledge them, then firmly choose not to give them space today, even for just an hour. Channel your energy into what pushes you forward. Stoics don't bury emotions, they transform them. Use those feelings as an anchor, a signal of what to release. Each time you focus on what adds value, reading, training, building, you declare to the world and yourself, "I won't waste another day on what I can't change." You can't control every thought that enters your mind, but you can decide which ones linger. That choice, day after day, shapes who you are, your path, your strength. A quiet power shown in how you look, move, choose, and keep moving forward while others stay trapped in their storms. Fifth, embrace what is. Marcus Aurelius said, "If something external causes you pain, it's not the thing itself, but your judgment of it. You have the power to change that judgment." Most men don't fall from burdens, they fall from fighting them. They crave a different life, wishing others didn't fail them, the past didn't hurt, or plans didn't break. But reality doesn't bend. The more you resist it, the more you exhaust and wound yourself. It's not the load that crushes you, it's how you carry it. Acceptance isn't surrender or passivity. It's ceasing to fight what's already happened. It's staring down failure, mistakes, betrayal, and deciding they don't define you. You don't build yourself on what went wrong. Wishing for a perfect life chains you to illusion. When you accept reality, you breathe freely. From that calm, you can choose a new path. A man once emailed me, sharing how he spent years chasing his father's approval, striving to be the perfect son, expert, tough guy. It was never enough. Then his father passed, and the pain was brutal. Worse was the unresolved weight of those years spent seeking validation, reading Epictetus. He realized freedom begins when you stop needing permission to be yourself. He started speaking to himself with respect, not because his father gave it, but because he chose to claim it. Stoics teach you can't control how the world sees you, but you can control how you see yourself. Everyone filters reality through their wounds, beliefs, and fears. If someone shuts you out, it doesn't mean you're worthless. It means they can't see your worth. But you must. Acceptance also means releasing guilt, the inner voice replaying what you should have done, could have avoided, or lost. The past can't be rewritten. It can only be understood and used as raw material to build anew. When you accept an ending, you can begin again, not from zero, but from experience. Resilience isn't just enduring, it's learning. It's growing through each fall, not with anger, but with purpose. Not in haste, but with direction. Each blow that doesn't break you reveals who you are, what you can hold, what you can release. Yes, loneliness may come. When you stop living for others' approval, some will drift away. You no longer fit their mold. You're not easy to handle. But that's part of freedom, being fully yourself is worth more than being surrounded yet lost. So, when life doesn't go your way, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What can I do now with what I have?" Don't wait for a perfect life to start living. Begin now, with who you are, with what you know today. Each time you do, you'll feel a shift inside, not loud, not showy, but profound. Sixth, embrace silence to find clarity. There's a noise you can't hear, but it drains you, a mind overloaded, chasing everything, trying to fix, solve, respond. We're surrounded by stimuli, opinions, comparisons, demands. From waking to collapsing, exhausted, there's relentless pressure. Do more, know more, be more. In that storm, you don't lose time, you lose direction. Without silence, everything blurs. When all things feel equal, nothing truly matters. But silence isn't emptiness, it's a refuge. The only place you hear what you think, feel, and want. You might be on a path you didn't choose, chasing goals that aren't yours, running toward things that don't fulfill you because you never stop to ask if they're truly yours. Silence forces that question, not through force, but through clarity. When the world quiets, you're left with yourself. A man who watched my videos daily once shared he couldn't stand idle moments. Even 10 minutes of stillness felt like failure. But one day, in a panic, he forced himself to sit. No music, no phone, no one. 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, he wept not from sadness, but from truth. He saw how long he'd been running, how much noise he'd used to drown what he needed to face. Now, every morning starts with silence, not because it's easy, but because it's vital. It's where he finds answers no book or advice could give. Stoics don't shy from silence. They embrace it. Marcus Aurelius wrote alone at night, not to boast, but to hear himself, to order his mind before making decisions that shaped an empire. He knew a noisy mind isn't free, it's trapped in the trivial. Epictetus taught that the wise don't speak from habit, but from need. What you don't say often speaks louder than words. Silence reveals what's worth your time and what's mere distraction. It shows you as you are when the world's eyes aren't watching your habits, fears, deepest desire. But it takes courage, for silence confronts you with hard truths. Change begins there, not in comfort, but in the uneasy space where you stop running. If you're lost, don't chase more noise. Seek more silence. Turn off the chaos. Be still, not because you have nothing to say, but because you need to hear yourself first. You need to reconnect with what matters. It's not in the next goal or answer. It's in the quiet moment when everything stops and you meet yourself again. The world will never hush for you. There's always more news, demands, voices, but you can choose not to heed them all. Create your own silence, a sacred space where you return to yourself, not what others expect, not a shadow, but the real you. Only the man who knows silence can truly listen, and only he who listens to what matters lives with purpose. Silence isn't weakness, it's mastery, clarity, true strength. 7th, speak less, think more. Most men don't stumble from what they don't say, they stumble from words spoken without thought. A word spat in anger, an opinion tossed carelessly, a reaction unleashed. That's where harm begins, not always outward, but within. Each unthinking word pulls you further from yourself. In a world where everyone scrambles to be heard, the man who chooses silence stands out. Think of your mind as a blade, every word, a swing. An unsharpened blade wounds you more than anyone else. But hone it. Know when to strike or sheathe it, and you become unbreakable. Speaking less doesn't diminish your worth. It sharpens your focus. Control, clarity. Not every thought needs a voice. Not every emotion needs expression. Not every remark deserves your reply. A man approached me after a family argument, admitting he lost control over something small. The anger had built for weeks from words he didn't say when needed, feelings he ignored, judgments he hurled like daggers. When it ended, he felt empty, knowing those words weren't his truth. So he set a rule: pause before responding, even for 2 seconds. Those brief moments changed how he lived, giving him space to choose, to think, to respond with calm. Stoics believed deeply in the power of the pause. Epictetus said, "We're not disturbed by events, but by how we interpret them. That interpretation forms before you speak." The man who masters the moment between stimulus and response doesn't just win arguments, he shapes his character, his path, his energy. In tense moments, silence can be your sharpest weapon, not from lack of ammunition, but from knowing not every fight is worth your fire. In a crucial conversation, a pause makes your words carry weight beyond volume. Words spoken without haste, without fear, without need to win, hit differently. Speaking with purpose is an art, requiring practice, awareness, courage to resist the noise. Today, we're bombarded with urges to react, post, speak, prove something. But restraint isn't suppression. It's choosing where your words come from, ego or core, pain or wisdom, need for validation or freedom from it. That's what separates the impulsive man from the grounded one. You can't always control emotions, but you can control how you express them. Learn to observe thoughts without letting them speak for you. Train the pause. Breathe. Wait for the right moment. The man who masters his words doesn't just communicate better, he respects himself more, and self-respect earns respect. Next time you want to fire back, pause not from weakness, but strength, not from fear, but focus. Speaking less isn't holding back. It's releasing what's unnecessary. In those moments, you touch a quiet power few attain. You can be one of them. True strength isn't lifting heavier weights or shouting louder. It's forged in silence, in choosing to think before reacting, in focusing on what you can control. Today, we've explored 3 pillars to reshape a man: think less, speak less, focus more. These aren't lofty ideals, they're daily practices. They're a way of life built from each choice, each conscious breath, each thought you observe without letting it rule you. When you see thoughts don't define you, silence is strength, and focus shapes your path. Something shifts not outside, but within. You no longer need to prove your worth to the world, you carry it inside. You remind yourself that peace, discipline, and clarity aren't for the lucky few. They're skills you build, sharpen, and guard. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use what you have. Breathe. Pause. Choose. If you falter, return to this video. Let each word remind you your mind doesn't rule you unless you let it. Your voice doesn't lose value in silence. Your focus is your greatest tool. If this resonates, share in the comments. Where do you need more silence? What are you choosing to let go? Your story might spark another man's journey to find himself.